Hello there, lovely good afternoon, and welcome to the Lunchtime Cafe. Today, Friday edition. I'm Tapelo Jos Mata. Now, it has been said that the youths have been shying away from taking part in governance matters. Today, we went far and wide, and we managed to get Mr. SCONEL LUSAMBO coming from the Socialist Party. It is an opposition political party being led by Comrade President Fred Membe. Mr. LUSAMBO, good to see you and welcome.
Thank you. It's always my pleasure to be here.
Fantastic. How is the Socialist Party?
We are pushing. We are trying.
Okay.
Yes. We're trying to put things in place in readiness for 2026 general election.
Okay, fantastic. You are the deputy youth spokesperson, Mr. LUSAMBO. First things first, what does this position come with in terms of communicating to the general public?
My position is simply to speak on behalf of the youths, and if you look at the current happenings, I don't only speak for the youths in the Socialist Party, but I also speak for the youths who don't have this opportunity to come on a media platform like this and interact with the public. So, in other words, I'm just simply a person who speaks on behalf of the Zambian youths who are going through a lot under the leadership of the UPND.
Okay, so I asked my director that for those, we did receive some concerns from our viewers that they didn't have an opportunity to see our newspapers during the morning show. However, you can go to our Facebook page. We have them on our Facebook page, but we'll be able to have them on air so that Mr. LUSAMBO will be able to comment on the newspaper headlines that are currently out there from various media houses, print media houses. We'll be able to have them on your screen as we continue with the program. Mr. LUSAMBO, let's get into it. Let's look at Lusaka. What are some of the concerns that the youths of Lusaka are having right now as we discuss?
There are so many concerns that the Zambian youths, especially those living in Lusaka, are facing. Okay. If you look at Lusaka, the population is so high, you can't compare any province to Lusaka because there are a number of activities happening in this district or province, if you would like.
Okay.
When the UPND were campaigning, they promised that there will be job opportunity for the young people. And if you go to different markets here across Lusaka, you find that a lot of youths have opened what we call tuntemba, small shops.
Okay.
But they are not having it easy under the leadership of Mr. Againde Chilema because things are bad in terms of load shedding. There's too much load shedding. You find that butcheries are closing almost every day. You go at even here, Lewanika Mall, you find that there are so many empty shops. Why? Because the businesses that people used to do in Lusaka cannot be sustained because of load shedding and other factors. There's no money in circulation and so many things, happening. So people are going through a lot of difficulties under this regime. Okay. And we hope and pray that the UPND, those in leadership, can pay particular attention to what the youths are facing. And it's also very worrisome that we have youths in government. When I say youths in government, I mean the youth leadership in the UPND. There's a man who answers by the name Gilbert Liswanis, who happens to be the chairperson for the youths. When we come on a media platform like this, explaining the challenges that people are facing, we are simply telling him to do a little bit more.
Okay.
You have this youth chairperson, of which we doubt if he's a youth in terms of the age. This youth chairperson who goes on media and tell you how many companies is having shares in. He will tell you he's having shares in different mines. Proudly so. And then this is a person that we're expecting to be coming on a platform like this and explaining how people are living their lives better.
Is it a problem to be a shareholder in one of the mines or in any company as a youth? Mr. Song.
It is not a problem, but the way it is done.
Okay.
It is not a problem for any youth. Actually, we are actually advocating for all the youths to have equal opportunities. Look at the incident that happened just a few weeks ago, a few days ago. We had youths who had an opportunity to go to Mufumbwe.
Okay.
What did they go there to do? They went there to simply participate in those activities which were happening in Mufumbwe.
Okay.
Before I say a lot about Mufumbwe, I want to make it categorically clear that there is no mineral under the sun, not just in Zambia. There is no mineral that is more precious than a life of a human being.
Okay. So just there, I know Mufumbo is part of our discussion, Mr. Lusambo. Let's quickly go to the newspapers. I want you to react to some of the headlines, Mr. Lusambo, but we'll be coming back to Mufumbo. The broadsheet, the Zambia Daily Mail, comes with a headline: illegal mining claims over 100 since 2023. Mwimbu says UPND government has given out over 600 mining licenses to artisanal miners. That particular headline, it goes with what you are trying to say. Mr. Sambo, please continue.
Yes, like I was saying, there is no mineral that is more precious than the life of a human being. There are miners they are calling illegal miners. Look at the promises which were made to them prior to 2021 general election. We are not encouraging our youths across the country to be involving in illegal mining. But all we are saying is the reason why we have a leadership, the reason why we have government is to provide a solution to the challenges that the youths are facing and the Zambian people are facing. If you have leaders that resort to killing as the way of curbing the issues surrounding the youth, then those people are in the wrong positions.
Okay.
They do not deserve to be in parliament. They do not deserve to be in government. And they do not deserve to represent any Zambian, because those are not leaders but they are killers. And we want to urge the UPND that they promised so much to the Zambian people.
Okay.
They promised a lot to the youths. There are so many licenses that they are saying they've given since 2023. But the question that we are asking is, who have they given? Have they given people like Gilbert Riswaniso? Because these are the only people that we are seeing driving expensive vehicles across Lusaka. Look at someone, an ordinary citizen in Copperbelt, in Chidiravombo, in Chingola, in Kitwe. Are they living their lives better because they've been given licenses? And what mechanism did they use to give these licenses? Were they looking at party affiliation? So we always say we need to realize, especially as young people, we need to realize that we have a country to protect first before anything.
Okay.
And these minerals that we are now doing chipante-pante, they will one day finish. What is it that is going to remain for us as a nation, for us to say, the time we had minerals in this country, this is what we did? Because as long as you are mining, you expect minerals to finish to some extent. If we are getting, let's say, 3 million metric tons of minerals every week, believe me, in a few years we'll start maybe having even 500. Why? Because we are diminishing our minerals in the country. So all we are saying is, for the UPND, let them represent the will and the wishes of the people, not only those who are in the party.
Okay. Dear Director, let's go to another headline. Okay, we go to the mast. Fire senior quote-unquote Godgate cops. We believe it's not only junior officers involved in the illegality, says CAAC. Baroti youths report government to UN for rights abuses. Another sub-headline there. and leadership movement rally. UPND cadres deface ECL billboard. Muti's ruling reckless and okay. Dangerous, says Socialist Party. Which one are you going for?
I'll go for all of them. Let me start with the one that is talking the one talking about the Neni Muti, the Speaker of the National Assembly.
Okay.
What we need to understand as a country is we have separation of power.
Okay.
We have what we call the judiciary, the legislature, and the executive. And we have the executive run by the elected Republican president. And we have the legislature run by the Speaker of the National Assembly. And we have now the courts, which we call judiciary. So, when you are a Speaker of the National Assembly, you are independent from the executive. But what we are seeing is we have a speaker who is acting as if he's a spokesperson for the executive. We are saying this because we've noticed the conduct of the Speaker of the National Assembly.
Okay.
This is not how a Speaker of the National Assembly should conduct herself. And Madam Neri Muti had an opportunity to prove to the nation that once we have a female Speaker of the National Assembly, the Parliament would be governed or be run better. But the opposite is happening. Look at the suspension of Honorable Binwa Mpundu. What did he do? Look at even the issue of the submission that came from Honorable Jack Mwimbu. Was it yesterday or the other day? When he was responding to a PF member of parliament who asked about the killings happening in Mufumbwe. What did the speaker do? She was actually laughing. If you look at her facial expression, she was laughing with about the response that came from Jack Mwembu. What was the response? The response was the UPND are killing better than the PF. He was just trying to justify the killings which was happening in Mufumbwe. And this is the Speaker of the National Assembly we have. We need a Speaker of the National Assembly who do not act like a politician, who do not act like an elected official in a political party. A Speaker of the National Assembly must be neutral. Is a referee of the Parliament. She is a referee of Parliament. Okay. And a referee does not side with any party. She needs to be mutual. But that's what is not happening. Things are going just... back a little bit. Let's look at what happened between Mao Sampa and the PF. The time there was this issue of, removing who should be the leader of the opposition and who should take over. The Speaker of the National Assembly was simply respecting the ruling from the courts. Each time the matter is before the court, she would tell you to say, I can't make a decision because the matter is still active in court.
What has changed now?
What has changed now, we have a situation where the court has given now a ruling to say the amendment of the constitution was unconstitutional.
Of bill number 7? Of
bill number 7, of course.
Okay.
The amendment of bill number 7, the amendment of the constitution was unconstitutional. That's the ruling coming from the court. That's a judgment coming from the court. What has she done now? She has said we can't be dictated by the court. So now there is no consistency in how she's running parliament. If things favors the UPND, she will quickly make a decision. If it doesn't favor the current government, she's going to pause. And that's why we are saying Neri Muti should do a little bit better in terms of how she, ran parliament.
Okay. Let's go to another newspaper, dear director. Okay, we go to the News Diggers. Chinese man in trouble for fondling, quote unquote, employees' wives' breasts. Interesting headline there. Moody's Bill 7 ruling undermines Concord, says a lawyer. Pali rejects motion to reintroduce data. Business linkages will make us eco partners, not aid. Okay, US envoy. Okay, so that's how the news diggers looks like today. Which one are you going for?
Let's start with the one which is talking about the Chinese.
Okay, fantastic.
We are an African country. We are Zambians, and we are a Christian nation. And we need to get to a point where we have leaders that understands that in its full meaning.
Okay.
When we have people, foreigners coming in this country, and they are now beginning to misbehave in that way, just know that they feel they have the utmost power to do everything.
Where is this coming from? Where is this coming from?
It is coming from this because...
Can Zambia behave that in another country?
That's where I'm going. It's coming... the situation is like that because we have this government that has put the interest of foreigners first before Zambians. Okay. And when those foreigners come in this country, they feel they are more Zambians than all of us. And that's why the problem is. Okay. And we as young people have been calling for a change. And this is the change that we're talking about. We need to have the economy run by Zambians. We need to have a system of government that puts the interest of Zambians first. We need to have, a government that protects its citizens first before foreigners. Look at what is happening to America. The policies that Americans are making, they are those that benefits Americans, not other nations. So even as a nation, we need to make sure that we have a leadership that is not acting like they are puppets of these, other countries. So once we put those
there, maybe that you might have overlooked. However, there we have it. Business linkages will make us eco partners, not aid, says the US envoy. Now we know that statement is attributed to the American ambassador to Zambia, Mr. Michael Gonzalez. We saw him going to State House with his delegation to meet President Hakainde Hichilema, and that is coming from America, saying that business linkages, not aid, because Zambia has been complaining that the cutting off of USAID funding to the health sector, to other sectors, has affected this particular country. But there's the American ambassador saying, let's form up business linkages instead of depending on aid. Your 2 cents on that one.
If you look at the submission that came from the ambassador, he was very categorical and clear.
Okay.
One, he's talked about how UPND has failed to attract Americans to come and invest in this country. Secondly, he talked about how corrupt this government is. He even gave figures to say in PF we had to see 2 million, but now we have 15. He could give the difference. Now, this is a government that has been portraying or giving a perception, because they have so many media houses, Causeway and the like, to propagate propaganda across the country. Now, yesterday, lucky enough, the cameras were on in State House, where the president was told, frankly, to say your government is corrupt, your government has failed to attract investors from America, your government has done so many bad things. If you look at the auditor's report, and the president, what did he do? As usual, he's always in a defense mode, trying to shield the corruption happening, always blaming the previous regime and the PF. This is not how you run the country. Okay. The America, what they are simply calling is how things should be. We are tired being always the Michila. tails. No. We need to get to a point where you are around the table, you say, okay, come in Zambia. When you come, these are the conditions of the table. And an investor should agree to that. You can't have a situation where you have a government that always wants to beg for aid. No. We need to get...
Isn't it ironic that it's a foreign ambassador, it's an ambassador from a foreign country that is calling for business linkages inside of a developing country like Zambia, which is in the third world, sixth when it comes to the ranking of poverty levels in the world. It's at number 6. Inside of this country, calling for aid from outside, but we have an ambassador that is even appealing to the highest office to begin to look at business linkages. Isn't it ironic?
It is. That's why we are saying, for this government, the only thing that they need to do is to realize that Zambia belongs to all of us, regardless of our political affiliation. We need to get to a point where the UPND and President Hakainde Hichilema should realize that developing a country is beyond rhetorics and those press statements that they've been making every day. We need to start working. The reason why we elected them is because we wanted our economy to start thriving.
Okay.
And for us to get there, we need to start owning and controlling the means of our economy.
Okay.
And that's what the ambassador is trying to explain to the Republican president. But do you see them implementing that in less than 9 months, which they have remained with? The answer is no. What are they interested in? They are interested in politics. They are interested in what they say, when here and there. They are interested in doing all those sort of things just to win an election. Do you see UPND implementing any policies that are going to benefit the youth? The answer is no. So that's why we are saying this government had an opportunity in 4 years to make sure that they make policies that are going to ensure that the interest of the youth, the interest of Zambians are put first. And how do you do that? You need to own the means of production. You need to own the means of the economy. Everything must start with the Zambians and end with Zambians. Not in a situation where you start, just because you want, the Zambians are calling for the roads to be constructed between Lusaka and the Copper Belt. You go there, you invite your friend, and you make what you are calling PPP, private-public partnership. You have that arrangement where you're getting the money. You are getting the money from NAPSA. What do you do with that money? You give an investor, a broke investor. What do you do to that investor? You hand over the roads, Great North Road, to these investors, these hungry investors. You give them the road. So what we are now seeing as youths, this road that starts from Lusaka to Copper Belt, we are going to be walking in that foreign land for 25 years. I call it a foreign land because it is a road which is in Zambia, but it's not run, it's not maintained by Zambians. So we have now a foreign land in our nation. So that's why we are saying there are certain policies that these UPND would have avoided. Again, what were they? Why did they do that? It was about comparing themselves to the PF. No, the PF came up with this budget. Yes, the PF came up with that budget because they understood to say the only way you can develop is when you own certain things in the country, not when you give something to a foreigner for 25 years. Do you know how much each target make every day? They make a lot of money. So are you telling me that in 25 years Zambians would afford not to get any coin from Great North Road? So it all starts from there. That's what we mean when we say the policies for the UPND do not benefit the interest of Zambians other than their business associates and even their stomachs.
Okay, let me find out from you as a young person, as a young youth, young politician, when some of these decisions are made on behalf of Zambians, when some of these decisions are made or negotiations take place on behalf of the Zambians, from where you're seated, do you feel they are done to gain or to benefit politicians or to benefit the majority Zambians? Let's begin from there.
the policies that have been made by the UPND, I don't want to talk about politicians in general. In this case, we have a government in place.
Okay.
We can single out each and every policy that UPND have made since the time they formed government. You realize that it is all about business. It is all about what is it that they are going to get at the end of the transaction. It is clear that they do not benefit an ordinary citizen. Are you telling me that a Zambian is going to benefit by giving away Great North Road to foreigners? Are you telling me that? The answer is these policies are made because the UPND wants something. They want to benefit something at the end of the day. So that's why we are saying next year the UPND now are wise, especially the youth. We should get rid of those politics of name calling. You see Lusambo, each time he comes on a platform like this, you go in his inbox, you start insulting him, you start calling him names, and at the end of the day, what is it that you are remaining with? So our job, what we do, like I told you, we are here to simply speak for the youths who can't express themselves. But now you have a government. Each time someone like me speaks, they are going to unleash cadres on me. They are going to unleash comments on me. They are going to do a lot of things on me. They are simply forgetting that what we do, we are just simply speaking for the majority Zambians who are not benefiting. If the UPND are enjoying, they are benefiting, then it is just their inner circle. But the majority Zambians who we represent, they are suffering and they are going through a lot. So there is no point, especially as a youth, let's get rid of those politics of name calling. Just because you support UPND and you are very hungry, you do not even have money to eat, you don't even have what to eat for supper. You are going to be told, no, go and insult Lusambo, and you go there and you insult me. For what? We are just simply telling you to say, we are telling the people that are leading you to say, let them provide an equal opportunity for you also. If they want you to benefit, it's well and good. So we are not here basically because we want to be enemies with the UPND or we want to fight UPND. Going to 2026, we should get rid of those politics of name calling. We should get rid of those politics of looking, oh, who is a youth? And akujimu. We don't want those politics. We want politics, issue-based politics. We want to be talking about issues affecting our lives. Because these people that the youths have been supporting, especially UPND press singers, you find that they live in mansions. Their children are very far from Zambia. They are in America somewhere there. Others are in Europe. Why? Because they understand that the environment is not conducive. And who has made these environments to be like that? Themselves, the UPND. They can't even help you with the money for rentals. You are the one suffering. The landlords are busy knocking on your door. But you are busy fighting the opposition. You are calling them bitter. Bitter for what? So, we need to understand as youths that we are into this, we are in politics simply to offer the solution and also to help where we feel the government is not doing the right thing.
Okay. You brought in the aspect of cadreism. President Agai Nechilema is on record to have said cadreism should come to an end. Is cadreism rearing its ugly head again under the UPND?
The statements that comes from the UPND officials, in most cases we call them rhetorics.
Okay.
Why do we call them that? Because the UPND will say this and mean exactly the opposite. If a UPND official come today and tell you to say Lusambo is a male, sometimes it's important for you to verify.
Okay.
That's how bad these people are. If they come to me, they tell me to say John is a name for a man, I need to verify. Because they have demonstrated that they do not mean exactly what they say.
Okay.
Answering your question, looking at the current situation we have in the markets, looking at the current situation we have at the bus stops, President Hakainde Hichilema, while in opposition, he made it categorically clear that buses should not be leaving any coin at any bus stop. I still bought buses. I can tell you each and every bus stop, I'm sure there are drivers listening to me, they leave the money they call Iakapiango. These are not issues that we are creating. These are real issues on the ground. There's so much cadarism to a point where if the bus fails to leave that money, that bus will stop parking at that station. This is what is happening.
Is there empirical evidence to that effect, Mr. Lusambo?
The empirical evidence, you and me can get on a bus today and start just going here in Woodlands. You will find that what I'm telling you is what is going to be happening. And the UPND as a youth chairperson, Gilbert Liswaniso, let him go to Lima Tower tomorrow and do what I've said. Let him get on a bus and try to go anywhere in Lusaka. He will discover that any bus stop, the guy or the driver will be leaving some money. If he doesn't leave, there will be issues. So, again, it is very disappointing that you have what we call toothless leaders. Leaders who can say things and their subordinates can't implement. And that's what is happening. If indeed the president said there should be no cadarism, if the president indeed said buses shouldn't be, leaving any money for any cadre, why is it that it's happening? Does it mean they do not respect their president? Or does it mean maybe just said that for the sake of cameras? So, that's what we are saying, that the UPND, there is so much lies. They will say this and they will mean opposite. And also let's look at the bus stations and how these things have been run. You find that in Lima Tower, there's the office for the UPND there. When you are entering through that gate, which there's a police somewhere there. At the far end, you find there's an office for the UPND. You find there's even a chairperson for that area, that Lima Tower bus station. Who is he? Is a UPND cadre. Look at, there's a day I went there, I just went there for formality's sake, I wanted the show. These are people that told me to say, don't worry, we'll organize for you. Now the question is, where are they taking the powers of the council? Because they said anything that you want to do in the market from today onward, it needs to go to the council. But people are going there in the UPND office. And that's where they're getting the spaces from. So again, it is all about rhetorics for our colleagues running governments today. You have asked me about the empirical evidence. Even you today, go there and ask them to say, please, nipe mpako ka shop, nifunako ka shop. They won't tell you to say go to the council. They will tell you we'll arrange for you. That means they have power to do that.
Okay.
Yes. So, again, the UPND should realize that they are not only governing PF, they are governing the majority Zambians. They are governing the Zambians, and most of the Zambians are not even active into politics. Zambians are not PF. PF is just a group of people trying to bring their agenda to the nation to say, when you vote for them in 2026, this is what they are going to do. But there are citizens that are just looking forward to their policies and see how their lives are going to be improved because they voted for change in 2026 or in 2021. So this is what our colleagues in government are missing.
Okay. Mr. Lusambo, still in bus stations or markets, let's look at the issues that have to do with the reduction of fuel pump prices. And we've seen that we have received reports that there has been a reduction of 1 kwacha when it comes to bus fares. How has been your experience on the road?
It is very sad that you have this government that is, I come out like this, it's not because I always blame the government. I just want to be truthful. I'll be lying to you if I come on this platform and tell you to say the UPND has done what we expected as youth in terms of, bus fares.
Okay.
I'll be lying to you. And I'll be betraying the majority Zambians. Okay. I'll call things as they are. The time the UPND formed government, if you are coming from Lima Tower to Bowden, for example, we used to pay 7 kwacha.
Okay.
7 kwacha is the amount we used to pay. And we need to work with figures now. They formed government, whatever policies they made, we are going to excuse that discussion. Again, they raised the price from 7 kwacha to now 19 kwacha. That's the amount of money we are paying. If you are boarding a bus from Lima Tower to Bowling, just know that you are paying a 19 kwacha. Look at the increment. It is more than 100%. More than 200% if you like. Now, this is the increment which was done by the UPND. What have they done? They've removed 1 kwacha from 19 kwacha. 1 kwacha from 19 kwacha. And what are they doing using their social media? They are saying everybody has started fixing it. Bring it back to 7 kwacha, if indeed we want us to see that you are fixing it.
Okay.
So again, it is just about politicking, because they've realized that next year it will be a general election. They want to play with Zambian mind, thinking Zambians are naive to believe that the reduction means well for an ordinary Zambian. Actually, that reduction, it's a mockery. We can call it a mockery. Why? Because it is something that is not going to bring any positive change in the life of a person, in the life of a marketeer. And these drivers, they are becoming funny because they won't even reduce. They would reduce on media when they say, oh, we have reduced to. Go there, ask them, they are still paying 19 kwacha. Ask them, they are still paying the same amount that they were paying. Again, if you look at the opposition, from the word go, the opposition advised the UPND that they should not remove subsidies. We go back to what we said in 2022, that the removal of subsidies, that's how come we find ourselves here. But what did the UPND tell you? No, the issue of subsidies, because PF used to get in Chekelako, and that's why we are removing it. Now, who is affected? Is it the PF or the ordinary Zambians? And that's why we are saying the policies that the UPND are making shouldn't be aimed at punishing the PF or Socialist Party or any other party. They should make policies to ensure that an ordinary Zambian, an ordinary marketeer, is still thinking to say, these people they've been calling names. From Bowlen to town, I used to pay 7 kwacha. But now I'm paying 19 kwacha. So no matter how much you try to explain, no matter how much you try to explain to them that the PF were bad, Zambians are going to look at the figures to say, these people have increased about 150%. And then these people, what are they talking about? So, the UPND should understand that Zambians are only interested in things that are able to change their lives.
Okay. Dear viewers, please do note that we are live on Top Search Channel 106, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Kenstream app as Camnet TV. Engage us on our socials, and you can still come through on the number that is being displayed on your TV screen, 0973-852700. That's 0973-852700. Please come through and let us get interacting on this particular platform. You can come through even with your text messages. We have Mr. Lusambo here. He is from the Socialist Party. He is the deputy youth spokesperson. Mr. Lusambo, let's get into it. The issue that has to do with employment for young people. We have seen the UPND employing a number of civil servants, from the armed forces to teachers and nurses in the education sector and in the health sector. And also in the media, may I make mention that the recently employed principal public relations officers came from the media fraternity. But when we talk about employment, surely can't we give them kudos? Can't we allow them to quenula when it comes to employment for the young people?
We need to be realistic,
Okay.
especially when you talk about employment. Our colleague promised us that they are going to provide employment. Let me go back a little bit. This employment which the UPND talk about, which they quenula,
Okay.
It happened immediately they formed government.
Mhm.
We understand governance is about continuity. When PF lost power, the UPND were supposed to continue from where their colleagues ended. The PF left infrastructure. They built a number of schools. They built a number of hospitals. They built so many things. And the UPND, within their 100 years or 1 year, they did not build anything, but they managed to employ. How many teachers did they employ? They employed 30,000 teachers. Why? Because there was infrastructure ready for that employment.
Isn't that a code to Kwenyula?
I'm coming there.
Mhm.
In the same breath, they said they inherited empty coffers. That's why the problem is.
Okay.
When you look at employment, any company, for you to employ, you need to have enough revenues.
Okay.
You need to have enough resources to sustain the people that you are going to employ. So again, if it is a Kwenyu, then on the part of the UPND, it was a lie for them to mislead the nation that they inherited empty coffers.
Okay.
Because if you talk about 30,000 teachers and every teacher is on a salary, it means there was the money. They didn't find empty coffers.
So it defeats the Kwenyu?
It defeats the Kwenyu. The Kwenyu, they won't tell you to say the PF built infrastructure Kwenyu. They only Kwenyula when it comes to employment. So it is also a double-edged sword. But again, what is more important, especially as youth, we need to realize that the reason why UPND has lamentably failed because they wanted to politic in their first 100 days. What did they do? The same employment of 30,000 teachers. We are saying it's a good thing.
Okay.
But also let's look at it economically. What impact has it brought? You employ 30,000 teachers. What revenue are those teachers going to be creating? Don't you think they are going to be getting from the little resources that ZRI is collecting? So that is the understanding that we need to have. If at all the UPND found a limping economy as they claim, there was need for them to invest the little money that they found in production. There was need for them to invest the little money that they had found in agriculture. Why are you talking about agriculture? Because you know that agriculture can employ so many people, depending on how you do it as a government.
Okay.
But what is it that we are proposing for us who are in the opposition? We are saying, let's have the agriculture that is going to be run in a 21st century. What agriculture are we proposing? We want a government that is going to have a system of agriculture where if a farmer produce some, some items, there needs to be a ready market for a farmer. You produce soybeans, there should be a company ready to buy your soybeans and make that soybeans into a finished product. When you do that, you are going to find that that company that is going to be producing, that is going to be making soybeans into a finished product, it is going to employ people. And that is, so it's an employment. So you have employment which is bringing production in the country. But if you employ someone who is like me, a teacher, what is it that I'm going to do? What revenue am I going to be creating? We are not saying the government should not employ teachers, don't get me wrong. Okay. Government should employ, but how should they employ it? They should make sure that they have a win-win situation. Okay, we have enough teachers for now, okay fine, let's invest in the production. Once we invest in the production, the same money, the same revenue that you are going to be collecting from there, you are going to even find that maybe you are going to employ more teachers. Okay. So that's how the system needs to work. But what did they do? The UPND wanted to show the PF that they can employ more teachers. From 30,000, from the very day they announced that they have employed 30,000, have you ever seen another 30,000? They have now gone back to default setting. 300, 500, 1,000. at most 4,000. They've gone back to default setting. And this is what has been happening since the time in Memorial, since the time we got independence. Teachers have been employed.
Okay.
Governments have been employing teachers. So the UPND is not different from any other government. So them saying they have employed teachers, then it should be a Kwenyu. It is something that we need to look at holistically and say the UPND missed an opportunity. If they found a Tungwe in government, they would have used that Tungwe to create more Ngwes so that they employ more teachers.
Okay. Mr. Lusambo, as we begin to wind up, the Zambian people are watching, socially sympathizers, supporters, and would-be potential supporters are watching out there. Your word to them as we go.
Currently, we have a government that we need to be very, very careful with. The UPND government. The government that always believes in propaganda. A government that always believes in manipulating people. Why are they doing that? To simply win an election next year. We have an opportunity as a nation to change this country's trajectory. If we continue next year with the UPND, believe me, there is nowhere we are going as a country. The policies that the UPND have made so far do not represent or do not positively impact the lives of an ordinary Zambian, other than those of their business associates and friends. So we are calling on Zambians to ensure that we in the opposition are spreading the message of bringing the interest of Zambians first before anything, before profits.
Okay.
So that's why we are saying we need to have a revolutionary change. A revolutionary change, it is a change in a system, in a way we govern the country. Since this country, since the time we got independence, we have always been treated as tails. We need to have a system of government that is going to ensure that the interest of Zambians are first before anyone's. And also we are saying for these countries that we see around, someone would be happy to be in America, to be in Dubai, to be anywhere. Why? Because those countries, if you look at China, Chinese, those people, they only put Chinese first. Now we need to have a government that is going to say Zambian first. And this system of government is going to make sure that they understand to say there is no mineral that is more precious than a life of a human being. We need to have a system of government that will ensure that it's better you protect a life of a human being than that of a god. So next year, we just need to register as voters so that we, as young people, can express ourselves. If indeed our lives are better with the UPND, we are eating 5 times a day. In PF, we used to eat 2 times a day. Then register as voters and vote for the UPND. But if your life has changed negatively, ensure that you vote for the opposition that is giving an alternative, an opposition that believes that this country can only be developed if we put our citizens as a center stage. This country can only develop if we have a system of government that is going to ensure that the economy and the policies favors the interest of Zambians. So next year it will be a very crucial year because we have an opportunity as Zambians to either do a right thing or do a wrong thing. And we pray, it is our prayer, that as young people we have seen that the Kwenyus done by the UPND has no positive impact in our lives. So next year, let's vote them out and have a system of government that is going to be run by Zambians, controlled by Zambians, because if you don't control the system, it means you don't own it. And the UPND do not own the system. Why? Because they've demonstrated. The Republican president told you that vendetta influenced that decision to be changed. It means there are factors controlling him. There are things that we don't know. So we are saying let's have a system of government that is going to ensure that the interests of Zambians are first before those of foreigners. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. LUSAMBO, thank you so much for coming through.
You're welcome. It's always my pleasure to be here.
Ah, fantastic. It's always a pleasure hosting you. Viewers, that was Mr. SCONEL LUSAMBO. He is coming from the Socialist Party. He is the deputy spokesperson, youth wing of the Socialist Party. Thank you so much to my director upstairs, and thank you, the viewers, the major stakeholders in this particular program. I have been your host, Tapelo. Joe Smarta is my name. We'll see you when you see us. Good afternoon.